Alright, my camera is acting weird today. It's got a different timer, and now there's a big red thing around the video button. I'm not liking this. It was doing a frame thing, and so that's not cool that they're all of a sudden changing it on me. But it looks like as it's recording that it's doing the same normal stuff. But alright, well, let's turn me around to get more light on me. Okay. I went to Family Dollar instead of to the store, and so I ended up getting the Tony's pizza, or whatever it's called, rather than the Kroger brand pizza. Okay, so yeah, this is really weird. I don't like this. I don't like them changing this thing on me. Alright, I got back and they're talking about continuing the news discussion about the new Muslim congresswoman who did a tweet, I guess, about her displeasure of Israel and what they're doing in Israel, and wishes they would stop it. And so everybody assumed that it was therefore anti-Semitic, Babylonian Jewish. Because if you don't know, Semitic refers to the language of Mesopotamia, and it's given the name Semitic because of the Bible misinterpretation and possibly mistranslation, well, definitely mistranslation from the Egyptian documents, calling that land the land of Shem. And so they cut off the H, leaving it the S, which is phonetically the same, but so instead of Shemitic, it's Semitic. But Israel is distinctive from Jewish, even though Jews are the ones who are in government and are in charge of Israel. The mere fact that she would say Israel would also suggest that she's referring to Palestinians, because they share the land also with the Jews. So I don't know if she realizes that, or if the rest of Congress doesn't realize that when they call her anti-Semitic. Nevertheless, this is a time to talk about racism. You know, the Brigham Young is involved in racism, obviously, because the church has now confessed in Race and the Priesthood gospel topic essay. Racism is now being used by racist and abusive authoritarian groups of privilege, such as white supremacists, to claim immunity from punishment and accountability, and to claim laws protecting them specifically. And that's what the Congress fight is over with this Muslim congresswoman, is because she's trying to say, hey, no, we can't do a law specifically naming anti-Semitism. You have to be broad. You have to include everybody. And she's right. Because once you include one group, you now discriminate to favor that one group and discriminate against all other groups. Because then what's going to happen if they pass this law and it goes through Congress and it's signed by the president, what you're going to have is other religions rising up and saying, hey, protect us too. And so you're going to have Islam, you're going to have Christians, evangelicals, Baptists, Presbyterians, Catholics, thousands of Christian groups. The Christian churches have shattered into thousands of pieces. Then sort of like Daniel's dream of the clay feet shattering. But then you have Mormons who have already been pushing it for protecting them. But they've been doing it broadly in the sense of religious freedom for the past couple of years, especially in 2017. They were all on a rampage wanting religious freedom, and even that is bad, because once you start categorizing groups as distinct from other humans, from other citizens, then you start getting into the problem of categorization battle, war, or whatever. That's what we have with our government. We have Democrats, we have Republicans, and they war between each other. And when one side dominates the other side in the government, the weaker side is oppressed and suppressed, and they rage. We want equality, we want our constitutional rights. And then when they take over in power, then the other side is suppressed and oppressed, and they demand to have their rights. And it goes back and forth. It's pathetic. And so that's what's with the religion. The First Amendment already protects all religions. It protects against anti-Mormon, anti-Semitism, anti-Israeli, anti-Christian, anti-everybody. It's already covered. You're already protected. There is no need for this law. It's useless and ridiculous. We need to start enforcing the laws on the Constitution already. But we have people who are saying, hey, I want exclusive protections under the law. And that's destroying our Constitution. And so what the church has been doing, the LDS Church, is they're trying to protect themselves from critics. They call critics anti-Mormons. If you're against the Mormons, you're therefore an anti-Mormon, and you're violating Mormons' rights to life, liberty, and property under the Constitution. And notice the First Amendment says that Congress shall not, I'll have to quote it. Hold on a second. Whoops, no, I don't want Jobs Utah. First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. By making an anti-Semitic law, they're respecting Jews, Babylonian Jews, specifically. And Congress cannot do this law. It's already protected in the First Amendment. This whole thing is ridiculous. All because of the lady talking about the government of Israel. Now, I understand that Jews are a government, a people, and a religion, similar to Mormons. Mormons, through Brigham Young, established a kingdom called Deseret. And then when that happened, they became a government, a people, and a religion. And similar to the Jews phenomenon, which is different than Christians, because Christians can't claim to be a government, a people, a religion, only a religion. And and so if you have Mormons pushing for religious freedom, it's already in the Constitution. So what are they up to? Well, we've seen what they're up to. The California Prop 8, they were enforcing their religious beliefs upon those who wanted to have sex with their own sex. And they were actively involved in campaign violations to see that California voted no on Prop 8. They failed, but they got busted. So what does the church do? They continue to interfere with the court case in Colorado. They did a friend of the court in Colorado to interfere in that judgment. And in the end, after several years, the judge sort of bowed out, didn't discuss it. So it's still an open question as to whether religions or religious people who are running a business can discriminate against other people on the grounds of religious belief, of hatred for other people, which is baffling. Why would a religious person ban other human beings from buying from your store on the basis of your religion of love? So, yeah, that's the danger part. What the church is pushing is for supremacy. And they're doing it trying to get other religions to join with them. And now, last year, there were people recording bishops about interviewing children about sexually inappropriate subjects. And so the Protect LDS Children movement began. And the church then came out and ordered the Utah legislature to pass a law banning people from recording others on their cell phone without the person's consent. See what they're doing? They're trying to protect themselves to continue to commit crimes, abuses, and particularly abuses against children. And they were exposed for that, and the legislature had to say, no, sorry, you can't do that. And so the church was forced to come out and establish a written interview questions for bishops when interviewing children, and required that a witness be allowed to stand in when a child is being interviewed by the bishop. And only people that were segregated from this church action were men. See, boys, girls, and women are allowed to have somebody stand in to witness the interview. But men have been denied. Look it up. If you don't believe me, I was doing all sorts of stuff on that when it came out. And so then you have medical marijuana, Prop 2. Church had one of their groups, by one of their members, well, all of their members, do pay for a scientific study. It was a bogus study. They purposely paid people to come out with a fake study saying that medical marijuana is harmful, which turned it into a contradiction. If it's medical, medical is supposed to do no harm, and yet they're saying, oh yeah, anything, any form, it's bad. It doesn't help people who are sick and having seizures, as the majority of Utahns told the Utah government and the church that they wanted medical marijuana, even though the church used that study to then justify coming out and telling the Mormons, don't vote for it. Mormons, however, have sick and afflicted that need medical marijuana, and so they voted for it. The church was not happy and went to the legislature to alter it under the guise of protecting children. They just got busted for not protecting children, and now they're coming out and saying they want to protect children? That goes beyond hypocrisy. I really am not happy with this new design of this camera. Okay, so Yeah, we cannot allow religions to alter the Constitution as it already protects them. And we need to hold religions accountable for trying to violate others' rights. A religion does not have the right to the free exercise thereof when they violate other people's rights. They cannot steal. They cannot lie. They cannot commit other crimes. They can't sacrifice virgins on an altar. They can't rape little kids. The Catholic Church in Pennsylvania, for example. Religions can't do that. They need to be held accountable. And they can't cover up their sins. Like trying to ban cell phone recordings of bishops' interviews. There's supposed to be a recorder. If he were reading from a script, there should be no need for any problems. But you need witnesses. The law of witnesses, people. That's in the church. The Doctrine and Covenants. You have to have somebody go with you. You have to have somebody be with you for your protection and others' protection. And that's why Brigham Young, when he went on his mission, he didn't go with a partner. He went alone. So there was problems. So understand the conflict that Democrats are trying to put forth on America. Because what's going to happen is white supremacist alt-right Republicans are going to rise up and say, hey, we want protection too. And then everybody will be protected, but then everybody will be at war with each other. And then you'll have stores exclusively for Mormons, stores exclusively for Islam, Muslims, stores exclusively for Jews, stores exclusively for Christians. We can't have that. That's a divided States of America, not a united States of America. Everybody is equal under the Constitution, and yet we see those in government, we see those in business bribing the government to change the Constitution to make everybody unequal and divided, so that it becomes a survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is not a law of nature. It is caused by those who are sentient and are able to create it. There is no survival of the fittest in nature. I mean, the dodo bird would have continued to go on and exist had it not been for that woolly mammoth and that whatever it was that forced them into that volcanic pit. The particular Ice Age episode. We are in a position to elevate people to strength. We don't need to be battling for supremacy over others. This isn't a battle royal to the death. So, that's my thoughts on the issue. We cannot allow Mormons or any religion to seek supremacy over others. We cannot have religion impose their religion on others. And the church should know better because of Section 76.